Rain Group, the bank processing and orchestrating the sale of Chelsea Football Club, wants to sell Chelsea to the Ricketts family and their backer, Griffin. This comes from a big report this morning from The Athletic that Chelsea Football Club could end up in the hands of the Ricketts family. Very, very unpopular with Chelsea supporters, but it all depends on what you want to believe. Do Chelsea's board actually have the power and control in this process? Is it the UK government, or do the Rain Group have more power and influence over this than we were initially led to believe? We're going to delve into this in a lot more detail, but it does appear the Ricketts family bid could happen. I know a lot of you don't want it to, but just listen and read this article. Let's go through this in a bit more detail. I know the No to Ricketts campaign is building up momentum, but it feels like there is a slight softening and the door has been left ajar for them. And I think Chelsea fans have got to stand up louder and prouder to make themselves be heard. Hit that like and that share button. Check out the Boohoo Man thing as well next to me. Give that a little scan to get your 40% discount. Let's do this. Chelsea bidders, the Ricketts family and Ken Griffin are proven ready but unpopular is the lead title here in the Athletics article. They go on to state that the Rain Group, the New York based bank running the selling process, is aiming to complete their selection by the end of April, at which stage they will take their preferred bidder to the government and Premier League. They do a full profile piece on the Ricketts family, breaking down a lot more about them, who their backer is. They go on to state that on the face of it, the Ricketts family tick every single box. They are rich. They are backed by Ken Griffin, who is even richer. They have experience running big sports teams in major cities. They do profile pieces on all the members of the Ricketts family directly involved in the actual bid, and they break down lots of details about them. They tell us that Pete is the governor of Nebraska, the family's home state. The youngest brother, Todd, is a prominent Republican. And his fiance is on the chairman. He's the finance chairman of the party's national committee. There is also a Democrat within the family, the sister Laura, a lawyer and a campaigner for women's rights in the LGBTQ community. What will stand out in this article massively, though, is the fact that Rain Group wants to sell to Chelsea. They want to sell Chelsea to the Ricketts family and their backer. The rationale they have is that they are proven, well-connected, and ready to go. Now, this is not going to be good news for Chelsea fans to read this today. And it's important to read the whole story because The Athletic do allude to the fact that it's still not the most likely. Todd Boehly still leading the race, but it appears from a financial standpoint, if you remove all morality for a moment, that their group from a financial standpoint looks the best. And there's two bits of fear here. One, the type of people running your club from a moral, ethical, social standpoint. You don't want bad people, bigoted people running your football club. I totally get and understand that. And that is of paramount importance to Chelsea fans. You also have to remember that if you're picking the people, though, that are financially the best option from an investment point of view, that a bank is picking, what does that hold for the future of Chelsea Football Club? Both those things would be concerns for me. The morality issue comes first, the running of the club second, but collectively, it's a big red flag for a lot of Chelsea fans out there. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans would agree with that. Now, we know what the problem people have with the Ricketts family. Of course, disgusting emails, disgusting opinions and views on Islam, racial slurs, racial jokes committed by the father, who is not going to be directly involved in the running of Chelsea Football Club should the Ricketts family bid be accepted. But nevertheless, something which is seen as disgusting. Now, the Chelsea supporters have been pushing the No to Ricketts campaign. It's been building up momentum. Every single time I see a prominent Chelsea fan tweet it, it gets huge traction. The likes of Simon Phillips, Matisse, the Grand Dam, to name just a few. But it appears that for me, the Ricketts family's bid is building momentum. Doors are being left ajar for them. And it all depends on what side of the fence you sit. And I'm not talking a political sense, morality sense, a social element. I'm talking about who is actually controlling this bidding process. But some stories I've read have suggested it's Chelsea. Chelsea will get the final say. Some people are telling me that it isn't Chelsea and actually the Rain Group will get the final say. And if they get the final say, all it's going to take is an endorsement for a prominent, popular element of the Chelsea supporters groups to get the Ricketts family involved. That is the potential here. So it all depends on the narrative. Are the Chelsea board involved, or is it the Rain Group in control, or is it the Rain Group? Interestingly, if the Chelsea board are in full control, then they're clearly right now not listening to Chelsea fans because, again, I don't want to get into a battle of semantics. Whether you want to call it accepted, past the first gate, provisionally accepted, I don't know and don't care. If you've made the shortlist, your initial bid has been goddamn accepted. Let's just speak frankly here about this situation. So at this point so far, they're accepted and they're approved. They're now going to go through enhanced due diligence, massive checks to see whether the overall bid stacks up and is worthwhile. Now, the family have issued an apology here. You can see that, I will read this out. He said, let's be clear. The language and views expressed in those emails have no place in society. These emails do not reflect the culture we've worked so hard to build at the Chicago Cubs since 2009. I deeply regret and apologize for some of the exchanges I had in my emails. Sometimes I receive emails that I should have condemned. Other times I've said things that don't reflect my value system. I strongly believe that bigoted ideas are wrong. Now, interestingly, these initial apologies didn't do too much to lessen the concerns of Chelsea fans. And the Chelsea Supporters Trust stated that it had met representatives from the Ricketts family in London and was grateful for the opportunity to do so. However, their concerns about their ability, the Ricketts family's ability to run an inclusive and successful club on behalf of their diverse supporters base around the world, have not yet been allayed. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that not yet. And that would be the word I would focus on as a Chelsea fan here in your wants to protest is not yet. They have not done it yet. We're not yet convinced. However, you could argue that that has changed again over the past few days. So Chelsea legend Paul Cannavale, just over a week ago, about a week ago, tweeted, last Wednesday this was, that I have seen and heard enough. I am back in the Chelsea Supporters Trust, and I'm saying a big fat anti-racism no to the Ricketts bid. And I don't think anybody was expecting anything different from him. Now, just to give you an idea about Paul Cannavale, he was the first ever black player to play for Chelsea, and he's become, according to this quote here from the Daily Mail, an influential figure in the club's takeover. He has somewhat changed his stance slightly. Now, he hasn't endorsed it, but what he has said that I am pleased to have met Mr. Ricketts and expressed my concerns over some of his family members' public statements. I was reassured by his response. I'm hoping to meet other potential buyers in the coming days that have the same honest and frank conversations about their values and their commitments to diversity and community work. I think it's critical that the club is owned by the right person. And I think what's intriguing here is what I alluded to earlier. There seems to be a softening. I'm not suggesting that he has come out and endorsed the move. I'm not suggesting that he is now behind them more than Todd Bowley or anybody else, but that softening is there. All it's going to take is for the support, in my opinion, for the Chelsea Supporters Trust to do something similar, and it 100% opens the door to the Ricketts family getting in. And I'm not saying that to scaremonger people. I'm not saying that to frustrate people. It's my honest belief. Because if Chelsea were 100% going to say no to them, irrespective, they wouldn't be on the shortlist. Let's just cut the BS. They wouldn't be on the shortlist. Now, really sad times as well for Paul Cannavale here, because he said he was racially abused after some incorrect headlines were put out there. He says, today you will have seen an article in the Daily Mirror about my meeting with potential owners of Chelsea Football Club. I have not and will not give my personal endorsement to any bid. The vile and racist abuse I've received this afternoon has shocked and upset me. I won't be making any further comments. And I want to say this about Paul's situation here. It proved one thing to me that I felt all along, that there is a percentage of Chelsea fans who don't care about the bigoted, racist, Islamophobic past of some of the Ricketts family, all of the Ricketts family, whatever you want to believe. What they actually care about more is completely and utterly how well the club is going to be run. And I think I do believe this, that if the Chicago Cubs were run well, a lot less Chelsea fans would have an issue with the Ricketts past. A percentage, the people that have gone and abused a club legend of theirs for simply stating that he was reassured by the meeting. Ironically, the people that they're pretending they're annoyed that the Ricketts family might own the club because they're bigots, and their response to somebody saying they were reassured by the meeting is to be bigoted themselves. That's why that percentage of Chelsea fans, for me, do not care about the lack of morality within the family. It's something else. Now, look, I want to say this about Paul Cannavale's comments. He very much was against the Ricketts family. He has not said that he supports them, just that he's been reassured by their comments. But as I say, people, I want to get your take on this. I want your views. I want your opinions. The Rain Group is backing him. How much influence do you think the Rain Group is going to have with the Ricketts family's bid to getting Chelsea? Do you believe Chelsea have the overarching say? Do you think Chelsea have the overarching power in this situation? If so, why are they not yet rejected the Ricketts family's bid? What's the point of even putting them on the shortlist if you have no intention of giving them the opportunity? That makes zero sense to me. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings about this. Do you feel that the Ricketts family are gaining momentum? What's your response to that? What are you going to do? Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Check out some of the offers that we have on screen for you now as well. It's important to the Terrace that you do that. Until next time, my people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you.